Good morning from Disney here in California. It's 5 a.m. my time, and I've kind of walked into the common spaces to record this podcast so I don't wake anyone up. And maybe you can hear some festive music in the background, or maybe it just sounds like a waterfall, like airplanes. I don't know. I'm not you. Thanks for listening to the podcast today. We're here in Disney for a couple of days with my friend Leslie for her 30th birthday. And essentially what Leslie did was she invented this thing called Disney bounding, which is a pretty big deal if you're in the Disney community. And it's really interesting to see somebody with such extreme amounts of niche fame. I don't think I've ever experienced it anywhere before where people will actually follow her around because she's pretty well known specifically just in the Disney community. So they'll follow her around, ask for selfies, and it's just really funny that you walk into a space and instantly 5 people in the room are super aware of exactly who she is, and they're all watching her. So it's a very funny experience, I guess, to be an observer of that. It also kind of is a little bit of a testament to the fact that and maybe it even makes me feel a little bit better that if you do get famous in a specific niche, that it's not like you're a Hollywood star like an Anthony Bourdain. Anthony Bourdain probably couldn't have sat down to have a meal in any public space without being interrupted a bunch of times. And Leslie can kind of go anywhere as long as it's not in Disney and nobody knows who she is. And I feel like that's an awesome kind of balance to have, that you can completely kind of dominate a niche, and then as soon as you leave that niche, you are you just have your entire life and time freedom back. So something to think about if you are interested in pursuing and becoming maybe more of a notable personality in your specific niche, either in photography or whatever else you might be doing. So today what I want to talk about is something that I struggled with and I thought that I had to completely nail down and have 100% before I was able to continue along my photography journey. And that is finding your voice, or finding who you are as a photographer. And I'm going to kind of dispel the myth of it. So it seems like this huge important thing that you need to figure out, and then at that point that becomes your marketing and your branding message. I'm here to tell you that it's not that challenging, that you don't have to have that nailed down, that your voice will continue to mature and improve, I guess, over time, and you don't have to really just focus on getting it done right now. If anything, if you are in the beginning stages, I think it is totally cool to just start emulating different styles of photographers that you enjoy the visuals that they create, and just begin creating that style of work. And in the beginning, obviously don't just do straight up copycat. If they do a specific shoot, don't just go out in the world and create that exact same shoot. But if you are kind of mimicking elements from 2 or 3 of your favorite photographers, you are going to create a pretty unique style. And they say that copying is stealing from one person, but research is stealing from many people. So if you are kind of in the same way that I teach business as well, that don't just look at exactly what I do. If you are a Patreon member, or if you've purchased the Book More Weddings 2019 course, don't just steal and put every single thing in that course into your business. Pick the 5, the 10 things that actually make a lot of sense for you to do, and then find somebody else and borrow 5 or 6 or 8 things from them. And eventually you piece together a business that's actually you, that's not, you're not living in somebody else's world, because I feel like that is the way that you become pretty unhappy in photography, is if you've gone down a completely different pathway than you wanted because you saw the end goal and you wanted to become this person. And if you can just kind of kick back and do what's right for you, what makes you the happiest, I think that is kind of the right way to go about that. Another aspect of this that I think is often overlooked is not necessarily your voice, who you are as a photographer, but it is who you are photographing and what you are showing. So I've talked about this a lot in business and a lot in your portfolio, to really dial back and almost deliver the minimum viable product of what your photography is, because you want to get people hooked, you want to get them interested, you want to get them contacting you, but you don't want to give them any reasons to not contact you. And I think by having a portfolio with a few too many photos in there gives people a little bit too much time to be I love 80% of it, but these 5 photos, I don't know. And if you can give people less excuses to not contact you, to not reach out, to not book you, you're obviously going to be in a much better place. For the gigantic goal of finding your voice and trying to overcome that and nail down exactly who you are as a photographer, in the beginning, I guess my story was that I was doing bands and I was doing skateboard, snowboard aspects of photography. And in the beginning, that was kind of my voice, that I didn't have a specific voice. I wasn't by no means like a photojournalist. I wasn't going to win any awards, but my early products of photography kind of came from who I was hanging out with and really kind of documenting that. And I think that you can create a very good surround sound style voice if you are documenting a lot of things that are exactly local to you. It's actually called the Rodriguez List, named after the I guess cinematographer Rodriguez, and what his when they filmed La Mariachi a long time ago, the idea was basically that he looked out into his community and he was like, I know my brother, he owns a gas station. I know, like, these guys, they look like gangsters. And he put together an entire film and filmed it for literally like not a lot of money at all, when you consider how big that movie ended up getting and how much it actually takes to put on a Hollywood production, especially when you have to record audio separately at the time, that he was able to produce this film for really not a lot of money, because he based it around the things that he had access to. So if you kind of take stock of the people in your life and who you can contact fairly easily, and at least like have an in with them to start a photography session, or if you know somebody that works for a dress shop and you want to do like wedding photos, that you're going to be a lot more likely than just cold emailing these people to try to get what you need. So take stock of what is around you, what you have access to, and start creating within those. And like even for locations as well, I use this all the time where I do a food show as well, and the guy Nick that I do that show with, whenever I need an indoor location to shoot in Canada, it gets winter, it gets cold, I'm usually shooting at one of his restaurants just because I know him. And one, like, I guess it's a win-win, the fact that I can contact him, that he has faith in me very quickly, because I don't really have to do anything to prove myself, the fact that I'm going to create good work and that I'm not going to be obtrusive to his customers, that I go in, I create a bunch of work, and then I know that I'm going to send those to him and his marketing team. So now he has a few images for social media. So, and that relationship really did start by me cold emailing him, that we were aware of each other in the community. I think we might have been like Facebook friends from a long time ago. And I just reached out and I was like, hey man, doing this documentary about tacos, would love to have your input as a chef and the owner of Taco Farm. So he sat down with me and I just asked him a few questions, and that was the beginning of that relationship. What that turned into was nothing for like, I'm going to say 4 or 5 years. And then around maybe last or 2 Augusts ago, there's construction down the main street. All of his restaurants were really affected by it. Nick went in the paper and was talking a little bit about how like we should do something fun with the construction, like a volleyball tournament or something, because it just sucks that our main street is shut down. And I saw that. I reached out to him, and I don't remember if I subconsciously gathered this from the article or if this was actually a thing that he said, or if I just came up with it myself. I'm going to say I'm going to give credit to Nick, but what we did was we put together a dinner party in the center of the street, and we filmed this, like, just this video that, again, like kind of going back to creating good things for your local community. So we created this video. We really did expect we were going to get kicked out. The idea, at least in my mind, for the video concept of it was we were going to do this one-shot video where Nick sets up a dinner party with his staff, makes it look absolutely beautiful, like a wedding, in the center of the King Street construction with like all the diggers around, and it's super unsafe, well, not unsafe, but super like illegal, I'm sure, for the insurance purposes of the city. We set up, it looks so legitimate that anyone that's walking by, like any security guards, are kind of like, wow, that's a nice party, and they'll come over and they get like a skewer of meat, and they leave, and they never shut us down, or they never call the police. In our mind, what I wanted the finale of the video to be was somebody like coming to shut us down, and it just never happened. So we created this video. There was no true ending to it, but because it's like a 2-minute internet video, you don't really need that whole climax story arc, really. So we built this video. It got a ton of traction, a ton of shares, and we realized that there was this opportunity in our local community to build a food show. And I had the technical skills, I guess, and the ability to edit and the ability to put together a crew to come and shoot this to camera. And I kind of wanted to be in it because I've never really hosted a show in that style before. And I thought it would be a unique dynamic with Nick pretty much knowing everything there is to know about food, and then myself knowing pretty much nothing at the time, and really nothing about like our local food scene either. So I figured that I could kind of play the role of the uninformed person that lives in our community, and that would resonate with a lot of people, and I could ask the dumb questions that Nick wasn't like able to probably just like see that it was actually a question because he's been so into the industry for so long. So that's kind of how that came together. And that was all, again, like kind of just local people who I had access to. I could talk to Nick because I knew that he had a shop and that he would welcome the promotion. And then that became one of the, like, I guess one of the more important relationships as far as like friendships, and also as far as like actual, I guess, like business relationships as well. So that was a really cool experience. So take stock of who you have in your life, who you can create things with. And I really truly do believe that the best thing with photography and with video is the fact that you can just like find your friends and you can create amazing and fun things with those friends. And I feel like that is like the ultimate goal, that if you're doing something like absolutely amazing that you love to do, and you're not doing it with anyone at all, kind of just by yourself all the time, you're gonna lose steam on it. It's not gonna be as fun. But if you're filming something, or you're doing shoots, or you're building a business, maybe not like as a partnership, but if I'm building a photography business and my friend is also building a photography business, we have a lot to talk about and a lot of interesting conversations to have about what's working. So really do kind of figure out who in your life you'd like to hang out with a little bit more, and maybe start to make that a little bit of a business relationship. If you're anything, I guess, like me, that is something that really does, it makes me a lot happier that when we meet up, it's just not for beers, it's for a beer, and also to come up with some like awesome ideas to market our business. And this kind of goes outside of photography as well, that if you know people that are just like into business and marketing, or they have a specific need to do it, like if they own a restaurant, get together and talk to them about what's working, and like plug in your ideas that work in photography that are getting you exposure into their business, and like see if that connects, and they're going to be very grateful for that. So for actually like finding your voice, really don't stress too hard about it. It will come, and I feel that your voice is the product of your environment and what you're constantly creating. So if you want your voice to be something, just go out and start creating that work. It is okay to copy, it is okay to steal, to borrow ideas in the beginning, because we're all just finding our way. And you'll find out pretty soon that the people that you're copying don't even really know what they're doing, that they're just creating, again, like stuff that they like to look at, and they're emulating the people that they like to view, or paintings that they've seen, or artwork that they've seen on walls. So everybody's kind of lost, everybody's finding their way. So don't stress out too much, and try to figure it out all in one day. So yeah, thank you for listening to today's podcast. I'm Taylor Jackson. We are going to go do some Disney things now, I guess. I don't know what those things are. I've never been to Disney California. We went to Disney Hong Kong accidentally on our honeymoon, because we were in Hong Kong and we realized that the subway, the underground, went all the way there. So we decided to go all the way to Disney Hong Kong, and it was kind of fun. There's a character in Hong Kong named Duffy that I've talked about on the podcast. And it's funny that, again, like kind of that niche fame thing, the fact that Duffy is like the hugest thing, at least in Hong Kong Disney. I don't know about Tokyo, possibly as well. Maybe Paris, I don't know. But here, completely non-existent. So if Leslie goes to Hong Kong, if she goes to Tokyo, people actually know her, which is also really, really funny. So niche fame, I think, is the best form of fame. That it's also the most monetizable. I feel that when she has such a good attention span, I guess, from the Disney audience, if she creates a Disney product, which they do have a clothing label, that there's a lot more chance that people are going to buy like cake-worthy items because of the fact that she has this Disney fame. So fame came first, building free things, eventually monetized into things that people can wear, since she's kind of in the visual clothing industry. So think about that. See you tomorrow on the podcast. And yeah, going to Disney. I'll let you know tomorrow how that went. See you then.